did Captain Marvel go from this to this? Like, when it comes to hated characters, we have someone like the Punisher who's hated in universe. Or we have someone like Jason Todd's Robin who was hated in the real world to the point where people actually voted for his death in the comics. And of course, there's someone like the US Agent in MCU who was both hated in universe and in the real world until they actually gave him a proper character arc in Thunderbolts and redeemed him. But when it comes to the relationship the fans have with Captain Marvel, it's just a completely different world. For example, this character used to be called Mar-vell, who later had to go through some changes because DC sued Marvel for making him look a little too much like the Superman. It's also worth mentioning that he had the power of aging himself by uttering specific words, which was later copied by Shazam, or the other Captain Marvel from the other company. Kinda ironic, eh? Even more iconic is the fact that some decades later, DC and Marvel both combined their Captain Marvels to create, you guessed it, another Captain Marvel. Anyways, Mar-vell's Captain Marvel comics weren't doing so well, so they decided to give that title to a lady who first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16, who also happened to be more fan-servicey than her male counterpart. But then again, she also wasn't popular enough to seal the deal, so they gave it to someone else, and then someone else, and then someone else, until it was time for Carol Danvers to take a hold of that title. And honestly, she was a breath of fresh air since she was the only person who was not trying to be the Superman or Wonder Woman of Marvel Comics. She was an alcoholic, had temper issues, was dealing with rape and a bunch of other stuff, and not to mention the writers weren't afraid of making her look awkward from time to time, which made her even more relatable. But after she went from Miss Marvel to Captain Marvel, it felt like a switch just flipped in her and she never became the same person again. Her personality had a 180 that she became as interesting as a block of wood, not to mention that they made her so strong that they couldn't even bother giving her an arch nemesis. It also didn't help the character's case that she was portrayed by Barry Larson in the live-action version, who had pretty strong opinions toward the male audience, which didn't resonate well with the fans.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
And the final nail in the coffin was the Civil War II comics, where she was the most obnoxious version of herself. But of course, it didn't stop Marvel from desperately trying to sell this inferior version of Miss Marvel as the face of female superheroes. But with the lack of sales and the interest in seeing this character, they soon realized it was a bad idea, and now the character is pretty much up in the air. I don't know, I just hope they bring back the old Miss Marvel, cause I really missed having her around. I'm curious to know what you guys think of this character. Please let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe to all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.